So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to a scene from New Sarum, where Renee is going to do a bold thing. She's just going to call Tootie. That's all she's doing. Actually, she'll probably text her because we're modern day people. Nobody calls anyone anymore. You weirdo. So yeah, she'll shoot Tootie off a text that just says, "Talk to mom. When are you free?"
Did you just get a message back going now?
She will reply with "Park?" question mark.
Yeah. See you. She just said, "See you in 15 minutes." Smiley face.
And with that, Renee will go ahead and put her phone in her pocket, pat Panacea a couple times, and pull her shoes on, and reassure the cat that she'll be back. And go on, hop in her car, and head out to, what was it, Madison Square Park?
Washington Square Park.
Washington Square Park. You know, some square park somewhere. I don't fucking know. Washington Square Park. She'll go there. Find herself a place to park and head over to where the swings were.
Yep. She sees Tootie sitting there on the swings, probably playing on her phone.
And she'll wander up, hands stuffed in her pockets, and plop on the next swing over.
Tootie put the phone in her pocket. Hey-oh.
Hey. So yeah, talk to Daisy.
So did I.
Blink. Oh, that's right. You did say you were going to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, did she already tell you and I pulled you out here for nothing?
No.
Oh.
She said she wanted to talk to me.
Oh. Well, she just said that if I was going to go with you and potentially have to be shot at and stuff, I should ask for a favor in return.
Did not. It's logical. What type of favor?
I mean, you're already kind of planning to do me a favor, so doesn't it kind of square even?
Just turn and look over at her. I mean, if that's the way you want to play it, I'm happy to play it that way.
I mean, it seems like a lot to ask you to, like, be no shit over my shoulder. You know, whenever.
Just spread her hands. I'm game, Mum. I'm game to work that out. If that's the way you want to work it out, that's fine with me. She'll say quite happily, you know, she doesn't seem that phased or annoyed or, you know.
She just kind of shrugs. I mean, it seems weird to hold it over your head when you're already offering to help, so...
No, it's logical. It's just not.
So yeah, I mean, that's most of it. She told me to be careful, but you're a hound and you know what you're doing, so...
That's what she means by you had to learn to do it yourself. She'll smile.
What?
She said you wanted to talk to me, and that you would normally, she could have asked, but you had to learn for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, she'd said that if I felt uncomfortable with it or something, you could just owe her the favor, but that seems even weirder, so kind of waves a hand idly.
Did she? Tootie look over with like a raised eyebrow.
She just kind of shrugs. I mean, I assume that's kind of normal since I'm still new.
It can be. She just nod to herself. No, it makes sense. A certain amount of sense, yeah. She'll smile.
Yeah. I mean, I felt kind of more uncomfortable taking a favor for someone else, and I don't want it just kind of hanging. So, yeah. You're planning to help me out? I'll help you out. Hopefully, I don't get shot.
You won't be. Just keep beside me, and if there's anything seriously bad, we're not going to be directly engaging it usually. Besides, you'll have me, Dom. who are very experienced.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about Tom. Yeah.
Dom's the usual person I bring with me on these sort of endeavors.
He does seem pretty strong. And pretty sneaky, I guess, in a
He
weird
has to. He
comic book
has to.
villain kind of way.
He has to be. Have you seen what he actually looks like?
Sort of, a little bit.
You have to be sneaky if you look like that.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
We'll probably bring Luke for the sociable. He's a good shit talker. It's a good ample distraction. Just say smiling.
But he does seem pretty
And
talkative.
he does. Yeah, I don't mind him. He's all right. He's a bit too sassy sometimes, but there are people like that. She'll just say shrugging.
And I guess she also just kind of shrugs in return. I mean, everyone's got a thing they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows I'm not that good at talking, so yeah. No, it's not a bad thing.
It's good to get your feet wet as well.
Yeah.
Get you noticed by the right people too.
Will it?
Well, people notice you're helping out, doing stuff. It's a good thing to get people noticing. I mean, that's how I got to be Hound. People noticed the stuff I was doing.
Is there stuff that doesn't usually involve needing to bring a gun?
Depends. She'll shrug. Quite honestly, she'll like wave her hand. Sometimes I don't have to use the gun, but I always bring it. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes we're mostly just investigating, poking around. The last one was a bit of an unforeseen circumstances, I can tell you that. She kind of rubbed her belly, almost absentmindedly.
There's kind of sympathetic wince because she saw that. That was awful.
The last two times Daisy and I had a bit of, not Daisy, sorry, she won't say Daisy, Joan and I had a bit of a, we were put through the meat grinder the last two little endeavors we went on, but normally we're pretty smooth. It's just, well, you let out a breath. You don't really expect the stuff we saw.
Guess not.
Just shrug. Just play. My advice, my one advice, which everyone seems to forget about, is when you're out in the field and out doing your thing with us, think before you dive into something.
Oh, don't worry. I will definitely think before I dive into anything.
That's even in the moment of panic. Let your mind think for itself for a bit.
Isn't that just instinct at that point?
Depends. Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it is.
Well, either way. Oh, so speaking of potentially getting shot at, she leans in a bit, even though, it's an empty park in the middle of the night. I remember when we were at the club, you were talking to Lily about playing dead?
Yes.
Is that easy?
Well, you're dead already, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
She'll reach over and touch Renee's hand, and with Renee's hand, she's blush felt, so she's slightly cooler, whereas 2D's ice cold.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll say, "Don't I feel like a dead body?"
I mean, now that you point it out, it's kind of creepy, but yeah. But it takes time to go cold.
Not really. You just lie there. You already look dead enough. Hell, if you take a gunshot, you'll feel it, but it won't kill you. You don't even bleed, but you can make yourself bleed to make it look more realistic.
You make
It was
yourself...
actually. It was
Wait,
actually.
you have to make yourself bleed?
Sometimes, yes.
You don't bleed.
Not usually. Like, of course, initially there's blood, but you don't continuously bleed.
Oh.
Actually, it was a trick that a long time ago, when I was still a bit young, that's how we had to find a smuggling ring for a friend of mine that was stealing dead bodies. You know, to sell for organs and stuff, like freshly dead.
Ugh.
Just shrug. One of the guys we got to play dead, and because he was new, he was, like you, recently embraced, so we carried him in and we stole the body back by him pretending to play dead.
Well, all right. Guess in a pinch, it's better than actually dying again.
You see, you take 2 or 3 rounds to the chest and you keep coming. They're going to start talking because nobody can normally takes 2 or 3 rounds to the chest and they're still walking like they weren't even phased. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That was part of why I asked. I mean, playing possum is great and all, but yeah, it seems like it would be pretty blatant if you got shot full in the chest or the head and kept moving. People get a
Exactly.
little freaked out.
Exactly. Now you have to keep that in mind, especially because you have a job, right?
Yeah.
That's going like people seeing you say, for example, you plow into a tree, and you walk out completely unscathed, or you drive off a bridge and you're completely fine.
I
You know,
mean, are these going to be the kind of people we see in the normal day to day?
I'm just saying that certain situations you have to be careful and you have to think. It's all very well trying to save the day, and all trying very well trying to use your own powers, but you have to use them cleverly
Yeah. Okay.
because because like I said, there's a reason why we work evening shifts.
Yeah.
Like I said, my advice is to get into a position where you can choose your hours, like I can. I'm a lead pharmaceutical researcher, so I can come in whenever I like, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I've got some classes left, but Dr. Delarue already offered me a job with him, so I should be good, right?
Just nod her head. Just, like I said, plan for the future.
Oh, I'm trying. The future just got a lot longer and narrower than it was.
Just smile. You might think so, but I've been 10 years, nearly 11 now at this, and it's been an interesting experience.
Yep, like I said, a lot longer, just a little narrower, what with the no sunlight hours. So,
Hmm. So how you've been managing?
well, Panacea and I are bonding so well. A lot of talking to my cat and treating him like a therapist. He doesn't always appreciate it.
Well, I can tell you now, court will be in a few days.
A few days.
We'll get an announcement, usually. Like a letter.
How much warning do we get when the letter happens? Like,
Few days warning.
shit. Gonna have to
Don't
rush order. I should have already ordered it.
Should have already ordered it. She's nodding. But
Yeah. Rush fees. Okay, I can make it
my
happen.
my advice is be polite, be mannerly, and when it's all done, if you want, you can come find me or Delarus. We'll be there.
Oh. Um, I don't know if this is insanely personal to ask, but what did you give him when you were presented?
There was a different one when I was first presented.
Shit.
I was the one that I met. He died during the war. I was embraced during then.
Oh crap.
So when I met him, I was brought into a war council room and was told that, well, they had told the prince that I was a chemist and had very special talents. It was a different time, she'll say, nodding.
Just can't think of anything that I could get that he wouldn't be able to get just as easily or more easily.
I think if it's something, the gangrel, from what I understand, they're loyal. He's always admired them. So get something that reflects you and your service to him. You're a lady of the court. Think of that way.
am I supposed to do? Embroider him a favor?
No. Just but think of something that he might be even intrigued by. Something from your work, something from anything. If you want, ask Daisy for advice.
I did. She told me to ask around. She said, I think she said it was Luke. She said someone gave him something that made him laugh.
Like I said, something that piques his attention, but not in the bad way. Or his curiosity.
What? I don't know him. I don't know what'll make him curious or interested.
He seems to be very religious.
Really?
Nod.
I mean, I guess that was kind of the times, wasn't it?
Nod.
Hmm.
But after it's all done, Delores and I will be there. So if you wish to come over and chat to us, that's more than fine. We won't mind.
You won't mind if I hang around you?
Just nod or just smile. I'd be delighted if you wanted to come talk to us.
I find that in massive, massive formal occasions, it is nice to be around people you know.
Initially, she'll turn and look over at the swing. Initially, we will be with Daisy for obvious reasons.
But
You
yeah.
know. But when you're done presenting and all that, feel free to find me.
Yep. Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
Just smile. And how's the thirst going?
And she schools her expressions. I am just fine.
You sure?
Yep.
You'd tell me if you weren't you?
Probably. It's kind of the helpless shrug. At least she's being honest, kind of way.
She'd stare at her. The last thing I want for you is for me to get a phone call and you crying on the phone that you've done something.
I mean, I'm not planning to do anything I'll regret. And if I do think about doing it, you've already offered I'd call you before I even went out.
I'm just checking. Sometimes impulses can get quite,
I don't know.
You can be. The thirst can make you impulsive. So my advice would be to practice as soon as you can. You to pat her hand that way. You don't have to worry about them, really, do you?
She doesn't mind the pat at all. She looks actually a bit thoughtful, kind of doing that little stern stare ahead one does when they're mulling something over. I mean, you're close with Dr. Dellers, right?
Very close, she'll say, smiling.
Do you know how much of like a blood pressure drop there is when you do that?
She'll nod.
Is it like severe?
Depends on how much you drink.
So if you only take a little bit, do you think
No.
it would be?
No, not usually.
Hmm.
Like I said, it all depends on how much you drink.
I never thought. Well, I probably. Ugh, she just grabs, the two chains for the swing and again sways back in frustration, like holding on so she doesn't just flop back. But otherwise, yeah, she like flops as far back as her arms stretch, lolling back her head.
Judy'll stand up and stand in front of her. Just think on it. Like I said, doesn't drop that much, and if you make sure you take enough, you'll be fine.
Well, I mean, I was thinking if I was smart, and she kind of pulls herself back up into a proper sit. We do have patients that, aren't awake.
You got to remember, you got to learn to control yourself first before you start doing that.
I mean, if I went too far, there's sensors and alarms that would go off saying there was a severe blood pressure drop, and there.
Exactly. So it's better to practice out here first before you. It's a good idea. She'll say nodding.
Ugh.
But you need to practice first. Many of us take regular feeding people, groups that we like to feed from. That, what you just suggested, is a potential one. But you need to, and to take both of her hands, you need to practice first.
How many times do you think I would have to practice before I'd be sure?
4 or 5.
She just kind of makes the cringy face.
That's my realistic opinion. 4 or 5. You should be fine then. You just have to get into a habit. And it's very quickly. You'll pick it up very quickly.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Give me a call when you're ready.
Yep.
I got some business to take care of, so if you call me when and I don't answer, don't go out. She'll say smiling.
Yep. No wandering alone, especially not over in Old Sarum.
Mm-hmm. Nod. Like almost very motherly, like, good girl. You know what I mean? Type of nod. And she's like, all right, I better go. I won't be around for maybe a day or two. I just got to investigate some stuff, so my phone will be limited talk. She just smile and pat her hand and start to walk off, lighting a cigarette.
Yep. Okay. Later, she'll pull herself up. Go ahead and glance after her for half a second, and go ahead and turn around to orient herself and head back towards her car.
2D hops on the bus.
And I suppose that is where we can end our scene.
Yes.
So thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. It's been another scene from New Sarum.